So yeah, I'm completely trapped at the moment. I think one of the hardest things about having psoriasis is the lack of sleep. The lack of sleep is killing me. Right now, I'm actually filming this at, what time is it? It's 5 o'clock in the morning right now. I haven't had more than 3 hours sleep in about 4 weeks. About that. It's really difficult because the moment, like as you can see right now, this whole time, you know, that this has been recording, I've just been constantly itching because I'm just in so much discomfort at the moment. I don't sleep. I lay in bed, I'm scratching, and I'm scratching till it bleeds. You know, when I wake up in the morning, the bed has got these little blots of blood on it, which is really annoying because, you know, it messes up the bed sheets. But it becomes super painful. You know, it becomes debilitating. Any movement I make is pain. And the reason why it's pain is because imagine your skin is an elastic band. With that elastic band, you know, it stretches. Yeah, so whenever you move it, it will stretch. I don't know if you've ever seen a really old rubber band. Have you seen a really old rubber band where it's really dry and it's really cracked and it's really like nasty and there's no flexion, and if you try to flex it, it rips, it breaks, it like snaps. That's what my skin is. I have no elasticity in my skin because these huge scabs that are on me, whenever I move, it rips. And when it rips, it bleeds. And the pain is excruciating. The problem about when it rips is that you get open wounds all over you. Psoriasis all the time becomes infected. And it becomes infected, the scabs become yellow and they become filled with pus and they start oozing and it smells and it's horrible and it's inflamed and it's just burning, constantly burning. And the pain is just unreal, and this happens almost every day. Right now I have an infection on my legs, and you can see that the infection has spread, and it's really bad. It's super sore and it bleeds a lot. A lot of people don't realize how debilitating psoriasis is, and just how much it affects your life. Like right now, I'm constantly itching, I'm constantly fidgeting left and right like this because, you know, I've got psoriasis on my arse. And because I've got psoriasis on my arse, it hurts to sit down for a long period of time. I can't even sit down because it just gets sore. You know, I'm trapped at the moment. I really am. And I'm kind of just making this video to say that, you know, to give awareness of what psoriasis is, because, you know, I'm friends with a lot of people and a lot of people don't even know that I've got psoriasis. Or some people don't even know how bad it is. But this is what I live with, you know. This is the first time I've really had short hair. Usually my hair is really long and, you know, it's all styled and stuff like that, but my psoriasis is so bad on my scalp. I think I've got some mobile phone footage of my scalp from like 2 weeks ago, and if you look at it, my scalp was just covered in psoriasis. Like, it got so painful. It really, really was painful, because imagine if you grabbed your head and you pulled tight and pushed in and pulled really tight. That was the feeling that I had constantly, plus pain, plus the bleeding, plus the infection. It was so painful. And I was, you know, in a state of desperation, and I was just like freaking out at the pain, that I literally grabbed my shaver, took it to my head, and my beard trimmer, grabbed my beard trimmer, took it to my head and just shaved it off, because I was in so much pain. And I started medicating it really hard, and now it's starting to grow back, but you can still see like it's really red and it's coming back, and I'm not going to need to shave this again, because I actually have a full head of hair. Makes the house incredibly messy, because skin is constantly falling off me. If you just look at the bed now, there's just hundreds of these little skin flakes all over. My floor is covered in skin. You know, just after one day, the amount of skin that's left on the sofa and where I'm sitting by the floor is insane, because it's just constantly falling off. So, you know, I'm rubbing off these scabs and peeling off these scabs, and it's just constantly falling off. It's just everywhere. I feel a lot of things at the moment. I feel really ugly. I feel really insecure. I feel like I'm a burden on, you know, like my girlfriend and things like that, and my family, because I can't do anything. You know, I didn't ask these people to sign up for this, because, you know, if you want to be with me and be in my life, or anyone needs to do that, you know, they have to take on these almost responsibilities of having to take care of me, and knowing that at any point in time, whilst I have psoriasis, I could have a bad flare-up and become unemployed for the next 6 months to a year. I need financial, emotional, and physical support, which is tiring. It's tiring for a lot of people. The psoriasis is covering me head to toe, that I can't wear clothes. I can't walk out on the street because I have psoriasis on my feet. I can't do anything. So now, you know, my amazing, beautiful girlfriend is supporting me. And bless her, she's doing so much for me. I wouldn't really be able to cope if it wasn't for her. But yeah, so I can't work at the moment, so I'm stuck at home, which causes a lot of financial stresses. And the problem with stress is that stress makes psoriasis worse, which is an interesting thing. That it means that you're constantly messed up, because when you have psoriasis, it's so painful. You can't sleep, you can't do anything. And so, can't sleep, constantly in pain, haven't got any money, skin's falling off everywhere, the house is a mess. That causes stress. No one can not be stressed in that situation. And then because that causes stress, that creates more psoriasis. More psoriasis creates more stress. And it's a vicious circle of just it getting worse and worse and worse. And you know, whenever I see people, I'm out and about, I cover up really well. I wear a turtleneck, I do all this kind of stuff. I cover up really well. That a lot of people don't realise I've got psoriasis until I take my clothes off. Then it's a different story. But yeah, when I'm out and about, you know, I put on this smile, And I look at everyone and I'm super happy and I'm like, hey guys, how are you? What's everyone doing? I've stayed lively and bubbly. But on the inside, that's not the case. I'm constantly in discomfort. I'm constantly in pain. I can't remember what it's like to not be in pain, which is a weird thing. That imagine that. Imagine not remembering the feeling of not feeling pain constantly. It's weird. It's hard to explain. The lack of sleep though really is getting to me. Like really is. I look terrible right now because of it. Now, psoriasis basically takes up my whole day. You know, when I do finally manage to get to sleep, and when I wake up, the first thing I do when I wake up is I have to take a medicine bath. And I have to run this medicine bath. I kind of like lukewarm water. And I have to put a ton of medicine in there, you know, which is like bath emollients, bath salts, all these kind of things. I then have to sit in the bath for about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes, depends on how painful my psoriasis is. Honestly, it's a great feeling because it's the one time my body can relax and my skin isn't so tight and it's not ripping and it's not pulling, so I'm feeling super relaxed when I'm in the bath, which is, you know, the one time when I'm kind of like at peace for a brief moment in time in the day. But when I'm in the bath, the water, you know, there's just so much skin floating in the water as I'm in this bath, and it's horrible, it's nasty, you know, having to constantly clean the bath and all that. Now, as soon as I get out of the bath, I straight away have to heavily moisturize, and I need to also start putting my medication on. And this is where, you know, I rely on my girlfriend, because I can't reach all the spots on my back. So, you know, bless her, every time I get out of the bath, I do the meds on the bits that I can, and then she comes up and she will put the meds on the parts of my back that I can't reach. Now, if you're asking what did I do before I met her, well, I was living at home with my parents, and my mum had to do all my meds and do my back. And bless her, it was quite nice when she did it, because every time she did it, I remember she would sit there and she would put the medicine on my back, and every day that she put the medicine on my back, she would do a prayer, and she'd, like, you know, do a prayer for me as she'd done the medicine on my back. But that's the other thing. I'm completely reliant on people, and I am trapped. I could never be fully independent. And I think that was a hard thing getting over. Knowing that you can never be fully independent by yourself. That's a hard thing to deal with. When you were younger, when I was single and things like that, that was a hard thing to deal with. I'm always going to need someone to help me. Always. And not just that, because, you know, I constantly need medication. I need so much medication every month to keep up with the psoriasis, and it's expensive, you know. It's super expensive. I know how much all of this stuff costs in America, and damn, if I didn't have health insurance in America, I'd be screwed. I'd be so screwed. I don't know what I would do. And because thankfully we have the NHS, and yeah, they done me wrong, but at the end of the day, NHS is still an amazing thing. You know, I'm still getting treated for free, which is incredible. But that does mean, you know, I'm trapped. I can never leave the UK if I wanted to. I can never do the things that, you know, some of my friends have done where they've moved to another country and they lived there for like a year or two and worked there and experienced new things. I can't do that. I'm stuck here. And that is a hard thing to deal with. That's a really hard thing to deal with. You know, one hard thing about being unemployed and having the psoriasis and the pain and all that kind of stuff is boredom. I have nothing to do at home. I am so bored. You can only watch so much YouTube, you can only watch so much Netflix, you can only do so many things, you can only read so many books and listen to so much music. There's no stimulation. I can't go out and see my friends, I can't leave the house. Because I can't wear clothes, I can't walk, psoriasis is at the bottom of my feet. And I get bored. And there's nothing to do. And I wish I had something to do, I wish I was working, I wish I felt useful, because right now I just feel like a burden and everyone feel useless. I don't think I'd have been able to carry on the way I am right now if it wasn't for my girlfriend Serena. She has been my rock through all of this. Like, words cannot describe how much she means to me and, you know, what she does for me. You know, she still loves me for who I am, even though, you know, I am a burden on her. She doesn't say I am, but, you know, I am. You know, she's working so hard. She's working like 6 days a week, most ridiculous hours to try and pay for the both of us. And you know, she like booked holidays for us, like weekends away, and just recently we went away to Venice, and we had an amazing time. It was beautiful. Like, Venice is amazing, but I also had the worst time because I was just in so much pain just walking. We constantly had to keep going back to the flat. Couldn't go to any of the masquerade balls which she really wanted to go to. Couldn't do anything because, you know, I was just in so much pain. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. And it kind of messed up the trip a little bit. We have another trip that was booked, which we booked ages ago, but because my psoriasis is so bad at the moment, we have to cancel it. And we can't go. And that's a shame. Because, you know, that's money that we've lost now. And money is a hard thing to come by at the moment. And she does so much for me. You know, she waits for me, she does all my medication for me, like takes her time, scratches my back on the parts that I can't reach. She always tells me I'm just like, you know, she always says I'm still beautiful, even though with my psoriasis or not. She doesn't get grossed out by it, you know. She wakes up in the morning and I have to brush her back because there's just tons of skin on her. And it doesn't bother her, you know. She cleans the bed, changes the sheets all the time. She's constantly having to wash my clothes over and over and over again because it's just covered in blood and medication and all this stuff. She's always having to hoover because the floors are just absolutely covered in skin, like covered in skin. And she does all these things for me. And at the moment, I don't do anything for her. Even right now, all of this is possible because of her. Because I was so bored at home, I was losing my mind. She said, "You need an outlet. You need to do something." And she said, "Why don't you start a YouTube channel?" So I thought, you know, okay, fine, I will. But I didn't have a lot of money, so, you know, she's bought me all this equipment, got me a camera, got me some lights, a mic, a little tripod. She's been working her ass off so that she can afford to get me a gimbal to get like smoother shots, because, you know, I've never had a DSLR before. I've never had a camera like this before. I've never made a vlog. I don't know how to use any editing or anything like that. And I'm doing this all from scratch. And she's given me the tools to do that so that I have something to do. So that's why I've started this channel. I'm starting to do in these vlogs. And while I'm on that note, please do like and subscribe and comment. You know, the liking and subscribing and all that stuff and sharing this will kind of give me the motivation to carry on and keep doing this. It lets me know that, you know, what I'm doing is a good thing and people appreciate it and people want to see more. And it might not necessarily be about this always. I think I might, because I love to cook, so, oh, that's the cat. So, you know, I might do like a little cooking thing, or, you know, I love my techs. I might do some tech reviews or things like that. So, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but we'll see what happens. But again, like, you know, I'm filming all of this pretty much by myself. She's helped me out with a couple of shots here and there, but yeah, never filmed anything before in my life, and so this is the first video I'm ever making. So I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying it so far. You know, or it could be completely rubbish. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'd really appreciate that. All I want to say is, you know, for all of you that are suffering from psoriasis or any condition really that's debilitating, I know how you feel, and it's tough, and just know that you're not alone. You know? Psoriasis is very misunderstood. There's like 100 and something million people on this earth with psoriasis, but most people, when they have psoriasis, they've got, you know, just like a little bit on their elbow, a little bit on their knees, tiny bit on their scalp, things like that, and they're like, oh, it's fine, it's nothing. But then for the people who have it severe, it's a serious medical condition. It's a debilitating condition.